I get it, you're scrolling through a sea of robot vacuums, trying to figure out if the next one you click, add to cart, will actually make a dent in your daily chores or just sit in the corner gathering dust. The fear of splurging on a gadget that can't keep up with your pet hair, your large floor plan, or your occasional spills is real, and I've spent the last few days actually watching the DEEBOT X11 OmniCyclone do its thing in a few different homes before hitting record. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, this isn't a budget robot. It's positioned as a high-end solution for people who have a lot of square footage, a mix of carpet and hard floor, and a furry friend that leaves a trail of hair. The big selling points are the 19,500 Pascal suction, a self-washing roller mop, and a charging station that promises to keep the whole system running without you ever having to touch a bag or a water tank. Those sound impressive, but the question is whether those specs translate into everyday convenience or just a higher price tag. Let's talk about setup. The Omni station that comes with the X11 is larger than the docking bases you see on entry-level models, and it sits on the floor rather than wall mounting. You plug it in, fill the water reservoir, add a cleaning pad, and the robot finds its way back automatically when the battery dips. The whole process takes about 10 minutes the first time, and the station does the heavy lifting. It empties the dust bin, refills the mop water, and even washes the roller. That means you're not pulling the robot out of the dock to clean the bin, something you'll appreciate if you have a home that generates a lot of debris. The downside is the footprint. You need a dedicated spot about 2 feet by 2 feet, which can be a squeeze in tight apartments. Now, the suction. 19,500 pascals is a number that usually belongs on industrial equipment, but on the X11 it's harnessed through a blast system that pushes air through a fairly wide intake. In practical terms, the robot pulls up sand, cereal crumbs, and most pet hair in a single pass on low-pile carpet. I saw it clear a hallway of a medium-sized dog shedding without leaving a single strand behind. On thicker rugs, it still does a decent job, but you'll notice a few stubborn tufts that need a quick spot clean with a handheld. The strength here is consistency. You won't have to run the robot twice over the same area just to feel satisfied. Mopping is where the X11 tries to differentiate itself. The Ozmo Roller 2.0 with True Edge 3.0 is a rubber-capped roller that spins at a controlled speed, and the station washes it after each run. For everyday spills, a coffee ring on tile, a smudge on hardwood, the robot spreads a thin, even layer of water, and the roller does the scrubbing. The triple lift system claims to lift dirt away from the mop pad so you don't spread grime. In a test kitchen, the robot removed a thin layer of dried sauce without leaving streaks, which is a win if you're the type who hates dragging a mop bucket around. However, it's not a replacement for a deep clean. Thick, stuck-in residue still requires a manual mop, and the water tank is limited to about 300 milliliters, meaning you'll need to refill for anything beyond a quick sweep of a single room. Pet owners will notice the Zero-Tangle 3.0 brush. The brush fibers are designed to let hair slide through instead of wrapping around the rollers. In a home with a Maine Coon, I watched the robot navigate a living room littered with long hair and come back to the dock with a relatively clean brush. That said, no system is truly tangle-free. After a week of continuous use, I found a small clump of hair near the brush housing that required a quick pop-out and manual cleaning. It's not a deal-breaker, but it's a reminder that Zero-Tangle is more of a marketing promise than an absolute guarantee. Navigation is handled by a 4-wheel True Pass system that can climb thresholds up to 20 millimeters without stopping. The robot maps your home using a combination of LiDAR and visual cues, creating a floor plan that it updates as you move furniture around. In a 2-story house, the X11 learned the upstairs layout after a few cycles and started taking the most efficient routes, cutting cleaning time by about 15% compared to a blind random pattern. If you have an open plan layout with occasional obstacles like a child's toy left on the floor, it usually reroutes without getting stuck, which is a relief compared to older models that would bump into the same spot over and over. One of the quieter but meaningful features is the power boost gone charging. Gallium nitride chips allow the robot to charge faster than traditional chargers, so a full battery tops up in roughly 2 hours instead of the 3+ you'd expect. For large homes, that means less downtime between runs, especially